Okay.
The compromise is giving him another chance.
First, I want to give my condolences to Ricky Smiley. I'm not going to pretend like I understand what you're going through or I can identify with your grief because I've never lost a child. But I can identify with the relationship between Ricky Smiley and Brandon. I have a 24-year-old son who's also in and out of trouble, trying to find his way, settling into life. He's married now, has a child and a wife, but yet he's in and out of legal trouble, leaving his wife and his child to fend for themselves while he deals with his legal issues. And me wanting the best for my son, oftentimes I want to counsel them, but my counseling to my child has to change as they become older. The way that you parent has to change the older that your child gets, because now they're settling into a level of adulthood where there's maturity don't necessarily come with adulthood. And so they're settling into adulthood with a lack of maturity. And even with that lack of maturity, they still want to be respected and seen as an adult. And so you have to change the way you parent because they no longer have to respond to you based upon, your demands and your requirements of them. They're going to respond to you based on your approach to them and the level of respect that they feel like they're getting from you as an adult. And so I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn to fall back a bit. I had to learn to allow them to make their mistakes. I had to learn to wait on them to come to me and then decide which situations and circumstance I want to interject myself in. See, oftentimes as parents, we use the things that we do for our children as a control mechanism and a way to inject ourselves into their everyday lives, which then builds resentment from the kids. And I'm not saying that that's the situation with Brandon and Ricky Smiley because I don't know them to that degree to even be able to dissect it like that. But I can say that it applies to my situation, and oftentimes it applies to others. So as your kids start to create families of their own, they have their own friends now. They're not living in your home anymore, and they're not as reliant on you for their everyday needs. Then your parenting has to change. You have to start seeing them, talking to them, and cultivating a relationship of respect with them so that as things happen, they see the difference between, the maturity that comes with being an adult and just being old enough to be called an adult. I'm just trying to tell you. So once again, I send my condolences to Ricky Smiley, and I hope that my situation has a bit of a different outcome than my son being deceased. So mad love to you, Ricky.